It is a continuation of the bad mom's story, but at Christmas time, and their moms arrive. I mean, that pretty much says it all. The audience is going to go to the theater thinking, this is going to be fun. Well, the first movie was so much fun, and to see their mothers show up at Christmas time, everybody knows what that means when you say your mother's coming at Christmas and you haven't seen her in a while. Alarm bells go off, so it's kind of great comedic turf. Amy's not measuring up in terms of how Christmas should be, so Ruth is just going to, okay, I'm making some phone calls, and then they arrive and just redecorate the house, all in blue and silver. And Amy keeps saying, but that's not how I want to do Christmas. And Ruth keeps saying, no, this is the way it really should be done, and this is the way the children really want it to be done. And if you really want to be happy, this is how it should be done. It's that presumption that mothers have that they know what the tradition is and they know how to make people happy. The three moms are so different, and then you see their moms, and their moms are so different, but all coming from a place of truth and need, and a backstory to the mother-daughter relationship. But I can't say I had a lot of trouble figuring Ruth out. I mean, she's certainly painted in some broad strokes, and the nature of the comedy is it is broad, it is kind of celebratory in the madness of Christmas. And that's great because Ruth, she's just decorating her lawn with these crazy, 12 days of Christmas mechanical creatures, and the lights and everything is kind of, I said it's like on acid, it's Christmas on acid, for gosh sake. But it pushes it to an extreme. You see how much she loves her grandchildren. And with them, she can be softer and more vulnerable. She's always giving them inappropriate gifts, but she's always wanting to please them. And she clearly just really always wants to, outdo everybody in terms of her curious generosity. It's like have an iPhone, have an Xbox, have, you know, and Amy's horrified, but to me it's like, well, they'll love that, they'll love it. So she really wants to. I don't think she's curiously, she's not a cold woman, certainly on the surface, but the desire to be accepted and to please is just so great. Peter and I live near each other in Connecticut, and we were in our first big Broadway hit together. His first Broadway hit and mine, and it's never been equaled because it was a play that won the Tony Award that year, written by Tom Stoppard and directed by the great Mike Nichols. And Jeremy Irons and Glenn Close were the leads, and the young, utterly dashing Peter Gallagher was in it. And he had just gotten married, and I had just gotten married right before rehearsals started. And so, you bond in the course of a 8-month run, but he's someone who's like a theater actor with whom our paths have crossed, although we've not worked since then, except on The Good Wife. He did play a story arc on The Good Wife, but yeah, he's one of the great guys, and in the theater, and perfect foil for me. It's a privilege to work with all these amazing women, I must say. I'm delighted to be with Susan and Cheryl, and Mila could not be just yummier. She's just the most easygoing young actress I've ever met. I mean, she's just unflappable. You push her in front of a camera and it's like, boom. She's just, and of course, Catherine and I did a long run of a Broadway farce called Boeing Boeing with the great actor Mark Rylance, and she played a stewardess and I was a French maid. And so Catherine had just had a baby, so we lived through a lot together, Catherine and I. And I didn't know Kristen, but it's just a great group of women. And for 6 women in a cast, we all get along. There's no craziness. All the crazy happens in front of the camera.